Joe Cronin, the trade deadline press conference that we all were eagerly awaiting, as the Blazers were one of 4 teams in the NBA to not make a single move yesterday. And I have seen the pushback of that of like, well, you just wanted to make a move for the sake of making a move. And I'm saying, well, I don't want him to take on dumb things. But Utah, who's not been successful, is run by who?
Danny Ainge.
Danny Ainge has made a lot of moves. Now, you can say, like, what are those moves really? There's some seconds and some fringe players, and what's the direct... Yeah, I hear you. I don't disagree with you necessarily, but Danny Ainge he's put together title winners, and so, like, you know, he kind of gets the cachet of me giving him a benefit of a doubt.
Yep.
And so, like, Danny Ainge is slapping around. And again, I'm not even telling you 2 seconds make the fan base happy. It just... No. To watch them do absolutely nothing, like, at all in any capacity.
Yep.
Somebody was like, they might trade Jabari for cash considerations because his contract. And I went, you know what? We've had old cash considerations here before. We'd welcome them right back, I think.
Love me some good cash considerations.
Here was Joe Cronin, the goal for the rest of the year.
You know, the goal for the rest of the season is really the goal from the beginning, continued growth. You know, we've taken some good steps. We've got a lot more steps to take. We want to see those, again, individually and collectively, you know, from our young guys and from our, you know, middle-aged vets to our older vets. Like, these guys keep getting better together and individually. As far as, you know, our projection as a team and just, you know, what do we look like from a talent standpoint, you know, that's our challenge always, is to keep accumulating talent, keep getting as, you know, high end as we can as far as the, you know, the players we're adding and the capabilities that, you know, these guys bring. And, you know, for me, a lot of that still comes with the development. Like, we have a really talented group of guys that are capable of taking multiple steps. And for me, you know, if they're playing well and they're getting better daily and they're learning how to win and, you know, build that winning competitive mentality, for me, that's, you know, real progress for them.
He was also asked about the win streak and if the win streak has changed their approach, which, to be honest with you, nobody should have thought the win streak would change the approach, but he was asked the question.
I think our approach remained the same. We're heavily focused on the big picture. You know, while we're happy about the way things are going, and of course my job is to weigh that and make sure that, you know, I'm putting the right dynamics around this team, and I, you know, had to consider not rocking the boat, but big picture is way more important for me. You know, I want to build a sustained winner, and the way we've played recently didn't really weigh on these decisions.
And old Bill Oram, good friend of the show, the press conference supposed to be over. Bill Oram was like, hey, sorry, PR.
One more question.
I'm asking this question. He basically was like, hey, Joe, do you owe it to this team deserve to get a chance to play for the play? And they're 3 back of it now. They're red hot and rolling. And this was Joe Cronin's answer of allowing the team, even post-All-Star break, to keep playing, to maybe play for the play-in.
I think it'd be unfair to take it away from them. Like, for me, you know, I'm so proud and so excited about these guys that sky's the limit. Like, go, guys, go win. Let's see what you can do. And I'm here to support it.
They proceeded to win that game, and now we will see. Will this age like the chips all in thing of I'm going to see and let them go? Or is there
2
injuries?
weeks, all of a sudden, Anthony Simons has a mysterious ankle injury in practice.
It's been bothering him for weeks.
He's going to have to sit down for a month. DeAndre Ayton has an illness, and there's ice in his driveway. He's out for a month and a half.
At T-Wolves, at Nuggets, at Nuggets.
I mean, they very well could go 0 for 3 on that, but that won't take them completely out of it. So that, like, the idea that if they come back having lost all 3 road games, that they suddenly have injuries that's going to be no.
Yeah, I think, look, I watched the entire thing. It wasn't very long. I thought a lot of good questions were asked in there, things that I probably would have asked had I been at that press conference. The only thing that bothered me was the idea that the win streak didn't dictate what your decision-making was, and I think he's telling the truth there. I don't think there just weren't any moves for them to make. If they were going to get rid of one of their guys, we joked about Nurkic earlier, like, you've reached a point with Jeremy Grant, if you want to trade him, you're probably going to have to attach a first-round pick to it. And do you want to attach a first-round pick, one of your future assets, to get rid of Jeremy Grant at this point?
You want to acquire first-round
Exactly,
picks,
and they missed that window this last summer, but I digress.
Well, they gave him too much of a 5
they
years.
Overpaid him,
destroyed that.
And then they overvalued him internally. And so now you're at a spot where you cannot trade him unless you're going to attach something to get rid of him. My only follow-up that nobody asked that I would have loved to have been asked is you want to say that the big picture is the most important thing, and that's where your centered, lasered focus is. I'm always thinking about the big picture. What is the big picture? How does the big picture look? Like, for the fans that are excited about what's happening over these last 10, 11 games, who want to tweet us, oh, Dirt and Sprague must be in shambles. Blazers win again. Is your argument you want the same roster back next year?
I would say right now they're feeling it.
We're going to go into year 4 of Shaden, in which he's eligible for a rookie. Do we acknowledge that Shaden Sharp's eligible for a rookie extension this summer? Are you giving him the extension?
I don't know what they're doing.
So he's going to be then in year 4 coming off the bench, and Scoot's going to be in year 3 coming off the bench, and Klingon's going to be in year 2 coming off the bench.
And who's going to be the coach?
And who's going to be the coach? Like, what is the bigger picture? And that's I'm glad that he's saying the big picture is important to him. It should be more important than a 10 or 11 game sample size in the regular season, in which you're not going anywhere this year. You might make the play-in and lose in the first round of the playoffs. You're not going to make any serious noise come postseason time. That I think is the ultimate frustration from a lot of folks on my side of the fence of just like, what is that big picture? What is that vision, and how does it look? And how is this year and not trading guys impacting that big picture?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to offer other than what you just said there. There's just two different schools of thought, I think, when you talk about the Blazers right now.
It's very splintered. That place was packed last night. Crowd was into it. My cousin texted me, who was on my side of the argument, basically like, what are we doing? I got one of those. Like, I'm at the Moda Center. I got offered tickets, so I went.
We're signing TV cameras now.
He's like, dude, this place is packed. Fans are into it. Like, all right, here we go.
Well, they have sucked for a long time here, dude.
They have.
This is going to be potentially 4 straight years of no playoffs.
Yeah, very well could be.
The longest streak in this franchise is 5.
Yeah.
So if they miss this year and they don't make that all-in move or get the right pick, and it's a little bit of the baby Blazers more so than some of these vets. If they do move them, it's going to be 5 straight years, and that will tie the franchise streak. All the anger and vitriol we had to the jail Blazers, and we're going to tie the streak that team had of not being good.
They got to leapfrog the Spurs, the Warriors, and then either the Suns or Kings.
Well, the
Suns and Kings are manageable.
Suns and Kings is manageable, but you're not. I just don't think you're beating the Spurs or the Warriors if you're in a play-in.
No, I would
so
not
even if
pick
you make the
that.
play-in, I don't think you're beating those teams because they have more talent than you.
Yes.
You have no answer for Wemby, and Jimmy Butler might fit in really well with Steph Curry.
Very well could. Steph Curry's still pretty good at basketball last time I checked.
I think ultimately they didn't have contracts they could move.
No, because they missed the window on it, and that's the part that I think frustrating for us who have the bigger picture in mind of second you drafted Scoot and you said this is our generational talent, we're trading away Damian Lillard to draft this guy, you should have moved Anthony Simons. You should have said, let's clear the runway. We don't need to start him right away. Malcolm Brogdon eventually came in on the roster. You want to have a veteran point guard around for his first year? By all means, do it. That should have been the indicator for you, and you could have dealt him at that time because the contract wasn't viewed the way it's viewed right now. And this summer, look, I don't have Joe Cronin's phone, so I don't know exactly what he was offered.
He came close to one. He made it sound like he came close with one deal. And then I'm just trying to read tea leaves because they're going to be vague on it. I don't know how overly aggressive he was because I think he knew what the market was.
He absolutely did.
For a guy like Jeremy Grant, who's on a 5-year, $160 million deal and having a miserable season.
And there were a lot of reports this past summer that they were offered a first-round pick for Jeremy Grant and other parts to match the salaries, and they turned that down. Those were your windows. Those were your opportunities that you should have moved guys, and then you wouldn't have been in a position at the deadline where there would have been this desperation mode of how do we get rid of some of these contracts.
They'll do it in the summer, though.
This
next
summer.
window.
The summer's when we do it, baby.
It's the next window.
Can't wait.